Hello, my name is Dr. David Milgram. I'm now ready to present to you key number 2, honoring the spiritual body. In Matt Wook's seminal book, 7 Herbs, Plants as Teachers, he relates the second stage of the spiritual path healing to the herb Yerba Santa and the Bible characters Cain and Abel. We all know what happened with Cain and Abel. With Yerba Santa, also known as sacred herb, the lancelet-like leaves he calls truth arrows. He also calls Yerba Santa the portable temple. He says you can take a little bit of powder of it if you go to a hotel room and you find it doesn't feel well in here. Ooh, God, what happened in here? You can sprinkle Yerba Santa around the corners of the room and it's a portable temple. It can light up the room, it can purify and cleanse the room. It's a spiritual portable temple. What we want to explore here today in honoring the spiritual body is how you can create a portable temple within yourself. Now, the root of honoring the spiritual body is called honesty, trueness, genuineness, authenticness with self. This is the root of all spiritual growth. Without honesty, there is no furtherance, no real furtherance along the spiritual path. The stem is called refining spiritual awareness. There is no refining of spiritual awareness, the stem, without first honesty at the root. Refining spiritual awareness is a major aspect of spiritual growth, for there are so many things, quote unquote, to tune into in this life. So to refine our spiritual awareness, to open to the idea that we need to refine our spiritual awareness to go on, to grow on, is key. The third level in honoring the spiritual body, what I call the branch of the spiritual body, is breathing. Breathing is very simple and yet a complex thing. Breathing is what enables us to have all life. In my mind, there is the body, there is the spirit, and there is the mind, body, mind, spirit. The body connects to its own mind through the breathing. The breathing is the link between the body and the mind. The depth, the quality, the length, the strength of the diaphragm, the lungs, of breathing is a major determinant into the quantity and the quality of the spiritual energy that flows. One quick note about breathing. Every time we breathe, we are dependent on a trace mineral to get the oxygen in and to let the carbon dioxide out. That's called zinc, that little tiny trace mineral that we know is essential for some enzymes, growth hormone, and insulin, is also key for oxygen carbon dioxide exchange with every breath we take. Breathing is the link, again, between the body and the mind. Breathing, fullness and depth of breathing, holds the potential to completely energize, light up the spiritual body. The fourth level of honoring the spiritual body, the leaf, I call integrity. As said before, each key is a foundation to harmonize the next and is fulfilled by 2 after it. So in the spiritual body, honesty is the foundation for using spiritual awareness. Spiritual awareness is the foundation for breathing. Breathing is the foundation for really engendering integrity. And that integrity in the leaf, in the heart chakra, a fulfillment of what we began when we began receiving our own spiritual awareness. In a similar way, the depth and quality of our breathing, the third level, is harmonized by having integrity and is fulfilled in the flower of the spiritual body, inner truth, using our sacred truth, whatever that may be, as a medicine. It is said, awareness is the medicine. Truth is the healer. The statement that we want to make to spirit, to ourselves, to our body, to our mind, to honor the spiritual body is open me. Let me be open. For an opening, we bring ourselves up to the fruit of honoring the spiritual body. Through increasing the quality and the depth of our awareness, of using inner truth as a medicine and awareness as a healer, we lift ourselves up to the fruit, the sixth level of honoring the spiritual body. And that is respecting wholeness, honoring oneness. This is the big key in honoring the spiritual body, that we look at the whole picture, that we don't simply and merely compartmentalize, looking at left or right, or feminine or masculine, or logical or intuitive, but we look at the whole picture. This ability to honor and respect the wholeness, the oneness within us, within our body, mind, spirit, and on all other levels, is probably the most important aspect of enabling ourselves to deepen our healing process. The seventh level, what I call the seed of honoring the spiritual body, is prayer. What is your prayer? What do you really want? Are you following your own prayer? Or are you following someone else's for you? Are you living according to what you really want, what you're really praying for? The flower of the spiritual body, inner truth, harmonizes the fruit of respect for wholeness and oneness. And that inner truth is fulfilled through acting from our own prayer. So prayer within the spiritual body is the culmination of all of our heart core work. The primary mode of honoring the spiritual body is to sanctify oneself. Sanctify through being honest, through refining spiritual awareness, through breathing, through integrity, through having response to inner truth, to respecting wholeness and oneness, and from living our prayer. In the first key, we grasp the seed of spiritual transformation. In the second key, we learn how to survive in the spiritual world. Each one of the 7 keys relates to a healing law. The healing law that resonates with the first key of tuning in to honor the energy body is Paracelsus' law of like treats like, or as I like to say, love treats love. This is all about resonance and vibration. And a lot of healing is in finding the right vibration to treat another like vibration. The healing law of the second key to honor the spiritual body is called the law of the direction of cure. That healing happens from the top down and the inside out, from the less vital to the more vital. That healing happens ADIO, above, down, and inside out. This is the real energy of life, of healing. Without receiving that energy that comes from above, down, and inside out, we cannot really find balance and harmony within ourselves. The human body, or the human brain and spinal cord, is an upside-down tree fed by cerebrospinal fluid. The cerebrospinal fluid is produced and flows within the brain ventricles and inside the spinal cord in what's called the spinal canal. I call this space within the spinal cord and brain the Holy of Holies. This is the sacred space of the body. The primary brain center that relates to the second key, honoring the spiritual body, is the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is the part of the brain that tells us how far can we go and still be safe. There's a very interesting thing about the prefrontal cortex. It has two growth spurts. During the primary growth spurt between the ages of 6 months to 2 years, the crawling child learns from its prefrontal cortex, how far can I go and still be safe? If I go over that line, do I fall and hurt myself, or how far can I go? Around the age of 2 years, those nerves are inhibited in their growth. They basically stop growing around 2 years when the young child gets a real good understanding of boundaries and how far it can go and still be safe, or what is too far, creating non-protection or unsafety. But the interesting thing is that the prefrontal cortex undergoes a secondary growth spurt somewhere between the ages of 15 and 25, 17 and 21. This is where people experience expanding their consciousness through various means, learning how far can I go and still be safe. A lot of people do a lot of experimentation around this time, exploring, but that usually stops somewhere between the age of 21 to 25, when the prefrontal cortex finishes its growth spurt. So the prefrontal cortex is really a brain center that looks at the whole picture for your protection. So it honors your space, your spiritual body. I relate the second chakra to the honoring of the spiritual body. It is said in energy medicine that somewhere between the navel and the sacrum, a little below the navel and a little in front of the sacrum, is a jewel, also known as the Dan Chen, known as the jewel of perfection. It is said that it holds a pattern of perfection that transcends all experience. I say all of our spiritual growth and development is really to get in touch with and utilize this jewel, to know that inside us is a pattern of perfection, no matter what has happened to us, with us, at us, no matter what we've experienced. The pattern of perfection still resides within the belly, hopefully, of our content. So creativity and expressing truth is as much the key of the second key of honoring the spiritual body as receptivity and tuning into inner trust is for the first key of honoring the energy body. Being creative, being able to look at the whole picture, honor and respect the oneness, to bless oneself up, no matter what the mess up, through creativity. The dominant energetic of the second key of honoring the spiritual body is oftentimes that we suffer from the illusion of separation. We think because we have individual bodies that we are separate, but we are really united from the source. There's a little song I'd like to sing that expresses this very well. And it's, we are opening, we are opening, we are opening, we are opening, we are opening up in sweet surrender to the universal love light of the One. And that's the basic song that encompasses this honoring of the spiritual body. Just as in the first key of honoring the energy body, the primary direction is centrifugal, to go with yin, to go within. The primary direction of honoring the spiritual body is centripetal, is to express yourself with creativity outwardly, to be honest and true in one's expression. The core body pattern that we seek to honor within the spiritual body relates to holographic processing and compartmentalization. Holographic is basically looking at the whole picture, seeing the one within the all. Compartmentalization is basically just looking at the pieces and the parts, but not looking at the whole. As it's said in Gestalt psychology, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So with an individual seeking health, wellness, and healing, it is all important that we do not merely look at the parts, but put the pieces together into a greater whole so that we may realize and manifest the greater energy that seeks to flow through our spiritual body-mind. When you join me at the Positive Body Language Seminar, during the Metta Practicum, I will be teaching what's called Spirit Point, a way to say hello to the spirit through touching a point with feather-like contact. I will also be teaching the positive body language that relates to all 7 levels of the spiritual body and its honoring. That is, a contact and positive body language for honesty, one for refining spiritual awareness, one for opening breathing, relaxing breathing, one for integrity, positive body language sequence for sacred truth, inner truth, one for respecting wholeness, oneness. Yes, we have a way to say to the body, mind, spirit, oneness. And we will also be teaching a positive body language sequential contact for prayer. Another part of the Metta Practicum Positive Body Language Seminar for key number 2 will be in showing you how to say higher self to the body, highest self, original spirit, great spirit, God, Buddha, Christ. What is the higher self? The higher self is not the highest self, the eternal, infinite, inscrutable God. The higher self is the link between God and the bod. The higher self is a totally non-judgmental spirit, energy that seeks to love all, to give to all, to help all connect in their spirit between their body and their mind. So again, we will be teaching positive body language to basically say the resonant energy of various spirit beings that are potentially all your spirit helpers. Each one of the 7 keys has associated emotions. Another part of the Metta Practicum Seminar of each key will be to show you various ways to help the body, mind, spirit let go of unnecessary, obsolete emotional patterns. I look forward to seeing you at the upcoming Positive Body Language seminars.